you are one of the most hated people on social media.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? I tell you what, they get me, and I picked up baking.
He messaged me on Instagram and he was like, call me when you're 18.
Oh, that,
whoa.
I will.
Uh-oh. What is the weirdest experience that you have had with a fan?
I've never cried so hard in my entire life. When I got into my hauler, I cried so hard. Haulers next to us probably heard me.
So can we jump into the OnlyFans rumor there? Because I feel like this was a hot button topic for a good summer there for a while.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to this episode of our Speedway Sessions. I am your host for tonight. This is the voice of Mansfield Speedway. My name is Robbie DeVore. I am also joined tonight in the seat next to me, former NASCAR driver, current owner of the Mansfield Speedway, Matt Tifft.
Thank you for having me, Mr. DeVore. I barely get to ever do this, so I have come up to the frozen tundra of Mansfield Speedway here from Florida, and I'm so excited because today we have a very special guest here, Mrs. Natalie Decker. It's pretty cool because we have actually crossed paths for a very long time, from not even our NASCAR careers, from the very beginning, early days, back to Wisconsin from when we were just teenagers. But it's weird because we actually really never talked at the racetrack ever. So, Natalie, first off, thank you for joining us and hopping on one of the dumbest shows you'll ever join on in racing.
Thank you for having me. And I just have to say, back to the super late days, I remember, I believe it was Madison, and your hauler pulled in, or maybe I was already parked or pulling in after you. And I was like, who is that kid? Like, I've been seeing him everywhere. Who is this guy? My dad's like, that's Matt. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had no idea. I was so like the big hauler came in and I was just like, I want to race out of a big hauler like that.
Yeah. So I grew up racing with Tim Schendel and Iron Eagle Racing up there, and they had been around for a long time. And so they had like the double stacker, and I think it was the Menards. It was their old IndyCar hauler, and it's just like this odd kind of hollowed out hauler, and it was their practice hauler kind of a deal. But I think what's kind of cool is, correct me if I'm wrong, but your start came around like my earliest memory of you, and gosh, I have to think you must have been 12. I was probably 13-ish. Was at Mansfield Speedway. Was that where you first started racing, or what was your first track up there?
Well, I first started racing like full-size stock cars at 12, and I did go to Madison a couple times, and it was like in a 4-cylinder. And you were already like racing like big cars. So like I went from go-karts to like a 4-cylinder, and I was 12 years old. But my main like tracks that I raced at were like State Park Speedway, which is no longer a track anymore. Golden Sands, which is in Plover, Wisconsin. And then I feel like we crossed paths more like as I started moving up into higher series, like in the short track world. And then I started like traveling more, and then I started seeing you. So yeah, like I feel like I do remember, because like I wasn't like racing like against you yet, and then I was like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
I want to do what he's doing.
No, it's because I remember we were at Mansfield, and I think you were racing a Sportsman still. And I want to ask you a little bit about this, because what I remember was you were racing, I think you were in that white Sportsman car, and your cousins, Claire and Paige, I had been racing against Paige for a while. So I knew Paige because I was pretty close with Cardell Potter, and the two of them were attached to the hip. Yes, they were dating, and it was a full-on PDA fest all the time. That's all it was. And I had been winning a couple races over there at the time, so it was cool for me because like I just had started like getting success in late model racing. But I vividly remember, because like, oh my gosh, this is going to sound so stupid. I had just hit puberty, like, I'm watching like these two just make out the whole time. And, like here's Claire, and like you guys are just like the Kardashians of Wisconsin, of like the 12, 13, 14-year-olds. And then here's you pulling up, and you're only a year younger than me. And we had this drivers meeting at just middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, at this place. And you roll up to the driver's meeting and it's like 100 degrees out and you're in a fire suit and there's a sports bra. And this is like the first time I've ever seen a girl in a sports bra. I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
I'm so embarrassed. I literally would walk around. I'm like 12 or 13 in a sports bra with my race suit like half down. I should be doing that now. Why was I doing that at that age?
You can make a lot more money doing it now and it would actually be legal too.
Married and have kids. And I'm just surprised that we never dated though, because honestly, like I've only dated race car drivers and you were the kid that had the big hauler. I'm surprised.
I was Demony Christmas. Missed opportunity.
But it wasn't my hauler though. That's the thing. It wasn't my hauler. So I should have played it off. No, I had zero game. I was a very, very introverted kid. No good on there whatsoever. So, but I do want to ask you about just growing up in the family that you did, right? Because I think it's a more interesting story than I think a lot of people realize, because you grew up with Claire and Paige racing, but then also your parents. We're going to go get into your mom a little bit later and your relationship with her, because she's one of the most funny people I think on social media. But then also your dad and the snowmobile racing. So I guess give the listeners and viewers of this show a little bit about how you got into racing, but then I think also between Eagle Creek is it Eagle River and the entire background there, because I think that's so fascinating and a lot of people don't realize how far the routes go.
Yeah, they go far. So my grandparents on my dad's side, Dick and Audrey Decker, they have 4 boys. So my dad's one of them, and then I have 3 uncles. My dad's the baby. And they all raced snowmobiles, dirt bikes, dirt cars, asphalt cars, like literally everything. But where they made their name, like where they're well known, is in the snowmobile industry, which is such a small world. But as I started coming into NASCAR, like so many people were involved in snowmobile racing, like Danica Patrick's family, Tony Avi, he owns a really big road racing team. Like there's just so many people that I meet and they're like, yeah, like, oh, I was a crew, or I raced against your dad, or this or that, or like I used to go to the race all the time. So it's so funny to me because I just thought it was so like niche and like not a lot of people knew about it in the racing world. But my parents, they owned a snowmobile racetrack in the town I grew up in. So I grew up there, like at the track, before school, after school, and they only raced 2 weekends out of the whole year. They only had 2 races like there, and they were back to back. So the first weekend was vintage, and then the second weekend is like the big show. So I fell in love with the motorsports industry through snowmobiling, and I tried it. I was 4 years old. My dad, like he's the world champion. He won the race in '87. And
he's huge in that industry. I mean,
yeah,
huge.
It's crazy. So like he had to buy me like, the newest sled, the matching leathers, like the whole outfit, the everything. And I practiced every day after school. I went on my snowmobile and I followed my Uncle Alan, Paige and Claire's dad, around the track. And they're just, I'm 4, like you hold them wide open, they're slow. It was easy. I loved it. The race came and I'm lined up with 20 other sleds and I'm like looking around with my little blonde ponytail hanging out of my helmet, and they wave the green flag and I go like 10 feet and I take my helmet off. My dad comes running and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm done." So that's the end of my snowmobiling career. So we get back into the office and my grandma, Audrey, she looks at my dad, his mom, and goes, "Chuck, was that $1,000 per feet? Was that even worth it?" But it did form my love for racing eventually. It just took a while.
Yeah, so I mean, your family got you into it, snowmobile. Didn't know that. That's pretty cool. But your mom, now she basically has taken charge of running basically your management. She's your momager, okay? When I reached out, I didn't tell Mr. Tift about this, but I wanted to get you on the podcast before I let anybody know. I'm like, here's Natalie Decker. She's polarizing. She's purdy as heck. I'm sure she's got a lot of insight. But working with your mom, what's it been like having her handle all the business for you while you go out there and wheel that daggone thing?
We got our ups and downs. I mean, mother-daughter relationships outside of work are crazy. So now throw in work. Like I have early memories of racing like locally. It was at Elko in Minnesota. I was racing a super late model or limited late, I'm not sure. She was making pancakes. We were there, like, you're at the track early. And I went to grab a pancake and she's like, "Are you sure you want one?" And all I heard was she called me fat. So I put her in like a headlock and I was like punching her. I was like, "Mom, are you calling me fat?" So that explains our relationship very well.
I heard a little bit about you text me back and forth before the show, and you had mentioned that and we'll get into your and Derek's relationship, but you might have mentioned that there's a few spiked wine glasses on the floor a few times during family dinners.
Yes, and that has nothing to do with my mom. Honestly, that's more my dad and I butt heads. So the story goes, racing sponsorship and social media sponsorship are like two separate things. And I feel like you can understand that, but some people don't. Like my dad didn't understand it. And a company was asking me for like a whole year to do like X amount of meet and greets, X amount of posts, and they were going to like pay me for that, but they didn't have the funds to like be on the race car, but they still wanted to be involved. And for a whole year of all of that, like it's a lot of money, but not enough to even buy one race, right? So like my dad was mad that I wasn't taking all that money that they were going to pay me to do all this social media, like, you know, collaborations and like put in a lot of work on videos and pictures and then like do 10 meet and greets throughout the year. He was like mad I wasn't going to like buy myself a race with that. And I spiked a mason jar on the ground and I left that house and I was like, they can figure it out because I'm done. That wasn't the first thing I've spiked. That was the first. It was not the last. I have spiked many glasses because we don't know when to shut work off. Like we're all together as a family. So it's my mom, my dad, Derek and I, like constantly every day together. And we'll be like at dinner and like no work has been talked about. And then all of a sudden someone will bring something up and we just don't know when to shut it off. So like we can like disagree really fast on things.
Yeah, no, totally understand that. And I think it's interesting in any family dynamic, right? Because, you know, even Jordan and I here working at the track together, it just brings a different dynamic when you're working as a relationship partner and then as business partners together. But my goodness, I mean, bringing your mom and dad into that, I mean, that's a whole nother level. And I remember it's just, there's a story from my childhood, and I won't go into it, but that I remember my dad just being like, "Hey, you let me know if I'm becoming one of those dads," like basically the hovering soccer dads kind of things, or hockey dads, whatever. And it happened one time, and still to this day, like he does not want to talk about it. Like it's just one of those things where it's like we don't talk about it. It's not going to talk about it. I'm pretty sure he's wiped it from his memory. Like it's gone. Yeah, and it's just not going to be brought back up. But yeah, I still think it's so cool though that you guys do have a tight knit relationship there. But I do want to come back to some of those sponsor things that you mentioned as we go throughout the show. But I think one of the cool things here on the Speedway Sessions is we do dive a little bit deeper. And I know we have a couple things to cover for you though. And I think one of the awesome things you have going on, of course, is we have you going to the World Center of Racing. So you're going to Daytona. That is, for a driver, the most special place on the world stage, right? No matter if you're there in the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, Cup Series, Miata, like doesn't matter. When you step into those gates there, it's hollow ground, right? And you're always going to have your home track that you go to that means a lot, but there's something different going into Daytona. So I guess tell the fans listening to this what's going on for you in your race plans for this weekend, but also talk to me about what that first experience was like for you racing at Daytona. And also, when was that? Was it for ARCA? And tell me about that experience, what that was like for you for the first time driving at Daytona.
My first time at Daytona was incredible. I sat on the pole for my first ARCA race there. And it was like, I like forget that I did that until people ask me like you just did. And I feel like that's a really good accomplishment. And I need to like remind myself of that every time I step into the track at Daytona. It was incredible. Like I I can't even explain the feeling of my first lap around Daytona, because as a young girl, like dreaming of being at that track and racing there, and then finally getting to experience it, it was just like, I can't explain it. It was just so incredible. And it's one of my favorite tracks. And I like dream that I get to race there every year. Like that's my goal, to make sure I don't miss Daytona. And obviously I had Levi like the week before Daytona last year, so I couldn't make the opening race, but I was like determined to make the later in the season race, which we did. So I raced 6 months postpartum. Everyone was like, "You're crazy," and I'm like, "I would have been in the car 6 weeks postpartum. I just didn't have any sponsorship money." I don't know if you can hear him screaming in the background. Derek's not doing a good job, apparently.
No, it's okay.
Derek, you're okay. Hold it together. But
And at any point, if you need to go step aside and check on things, it's okay too. But we totally understand.
and, hey, I've been with Levi all day today. He can handle
it's his turn. It's his turn. I understand. Yep.
Yeah. But preparing for like Daytona now, it is a little bit more different now that I'm a mom, I will say. I really try to involve Levi in like everything I'm doing when it comes to racing. So like I go to the shop and get fitted in the car, like Levi comes with me and he loves it. And it like seeing the world through his eyes is like so special. And I feel like you can understand that. But it's been chaotic getting ready for Daytona. I have a new sponsor. My suit, you can kind of see it. It's T&D Dickinson's. They're like a skincare brand. And where I first found out about T&D Dickinson's, my first time using them, was in the hospital postpartum, because they do have like products for like hemorrhoids and like stuff down there. So like after I pushed Levi out, they gave me this little cooling stuff to put in my diaper, not Levi's diaper. And I was like, wait, what is this stuff? And I love it. Like it's made with witch hazel and it smells so good. And honestly, I felt like I was healed in 2 hours. I was like, Levi was in the NICU. So I was like going back and forth from his room to my room. And I was like running all over the place. And like everyone was like, okay, slow down. And I'm like, no, I feel great.
Wow.
So I told my agent about them. I'm like, I love them so much. Like if there's any possible way I can work with them, I would love to. And he pulled it together and we're going to Daytona.
That's amazing. Well, and so I want to jump back to just these past few days. You have been on one hell of a media tour going into Daytona. I don't know if it's you or your agent that is putting this together. It's your mother. Okay. Your momager, as Robbie put it.
Momager.
Yes. So Amy is pulling the strings here for these. So so I'm curious, like, what is that like for you? Because I feel like it's such a fun piece of it, right? When you go into Daytona, I loved doing Daytona 500 Media Day. I love the hype around that. But what is it like for you just being able to go into that race, knowing you have a product you support and love? Like, that's always cool to me. Like when you actually go and you have a sponsor that you really believe in and support it. And it just, to me, it makes me get that much more excited to actually go into the race weekend. But what's that like for you to continue to have great partners that you're actually on the air, you're getting support from them, but also that's a lot of pressure too, right? Like you're putting yourself in front of a big audience. What's that been like for you these past few days, past few weeks?
Well, it's been pretty chaotic. I'm not going to lie, like going to New York and then flying home, celebrating my son's birthday party right away, getting fitted for the car, like doing my meet and greet at Walmart. It was all within like 3 or 4 days together. So it was packed full. So I'm exhausted. I need a rest now until I race. But I do love it. You know, it's such an important part. And I feel like drivers get a lot of shit for like from some fans, like, oh, like if you focused that much on driving that you do on social media, like you would be so much better. And it's like, well, that's the only reason I'm in the cars, because I'm focusing this hard on social media and interviews and all that stuff. And like, honestly, I enjoy that part just as much. Like it's so interesting, it's so fun, it's so amazing for the fans to be able to like connect with other drivers. I love connecting with my fans that way. But my mom, like I said, she's the reason that I get pretty much all of these interviews and all of these fun things if I'm flying to New York. my mom's putting it together. So, Mom, thank you if you're watching this.
Way to go, Mom. Hey, and since you brought it up, okay, so I like you. I like following you. I like watching all the stuff you put out. I like all your interviews. I think you're very sweet, and seeing you with your beautiful baby is awesome. But you are one of the most hated people on social media.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? I tell you what, they get me, and I picked up baking. I have to bake cookies to get out of my own head because they can figure me out. So I just want to go from someone that's get the perspective from someone that's dealt with it for quite some time. How do you deal with that? How do you clear your head beforehand?
It messed with me for like my first 2 years, like racing in ARCA for like a year and a half, 2 years. And then the first year in the truck series, it fucked with my head to where I would like call my team owner at the time at DGR, David Gilliland, and I'd be like, we need to talk about this. And he'd meet me in the conference room and he was like, you need to see a sports therapist because I can't help you. I don't know. Get a dog. That's what he told me. So I got a dog. So it really messed with me because it felt like if they say like something about like my driving, like I would take it like personally, like they're right. They know me, like, and it would just like get to me so easily. But now I feel like nothing even matters. Like I'm like, I don't care. Say what you want. Like I'm the one out there doing it and you're not. So like, I'm just going to ignore it. But, to be honest, I feel like the hate has only gotten worse. Like it's only been more like chaotic. And at this point, I just like to, this is going to sound like cocky, but I don't really mean it this way, but I really honestly think it's because I have fake boobs. I'm blonde. I'm 5 feet tall and I like the sport that they like. Like they're mad about that. I feel like most men are angry that like a little tiny blonde is in love with the sport that they're in or that they love. And I'm just like, that has to be it, right? Like that has to be the reason.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds right to me. I didn't want to point it out. Okay. I've been asking these guys if I could talk about your fake boobs all day long. So I'm glad that you opened up the door of conversation here for that. So a pretty little blonde thing getting into a race car. I did want to ask you about this. You got yourself a new fire suit and all that stuff with the TN Dickinson all plastered all over. You're going to Daytona. Now, did they match fit that to your body, or are you a one size fits all jump into the fire suit kind of gal? What do we do there? Is it tailored to fit your body?
Yeah, all fire suits are like measured. Like I went into Simpson and they measure every single inch of you. Literally, Matt,
it is quite invasive. I mean, Robbie, they're going to go in there and like for guys, they're going to go up there and grab your balls. I mean, I know the listeners here would rather hear about, her boobs here, but they, for guys too, they're all up in there. Like it's not pretty.
No, they're up in there. Yeah. It's pretty intense. I love my fire suit. This is probably, I told them, I said, make it tight. I don't think I've had this tight of a race suit ever.
Okay, so just on this general topic, I do want to jump to something in this. There was a rumor for a little while there that went around NASCAR Reddit. God, NASCAR Reddit is the most fucking toxic place you can ever go. Never go down the NASCAR Reddit.
On Reddit, period.
Please don't. Please do not do it. One time I did, and I was like, oh, dear God, this is not a good place. So just save yourself some time and do not do it. Because I mentioned that, you're probably going to do it now. But it's just about as bad as NASCAR Twitter, except for they go deep into things. It's kind of like the conspiracy theory things, but they just go further and further and further. They have somehow concocted theories that my mom was the one who purchased my charter and has also purchased the Mansfield Speedway. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, no, this is not the case at all. But anyways, so there was a fan theory for a while that just, again, because of the fact that probably you are the pretty blondes and you're driving the sport that they love, that you had no more sponsorship there. And so you were going to start an OnlyFans to pay for your racing, is what the Reddit thread said. So can we jump into the OnlyFans rumor there? Because I feel like this was a hot button topic for a good summer there for a while.
Inquiring minds want to know, Natalie, We would like to know what's the status of the OnlyFans.
Not happening. So I feel like, okay, this is
This is pre-marriage stage too, Robbie. I feel like.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're a married lady. Super
no,
sorry.
this is prior. This is PD, pre-Derek.
Okay, PD.
Yeah, this was probably like right before I got married. I feel like I remember seeing this rumor, but I don't remember how I saw it. Maybe someone screenshotted it because I never looked anything up on Reddit before.
Dude, it was, I mean, over NASCAR Twitter, it was big. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? I mean, this is like.
Okay, I know how the rumor started.
I want to know, okay, how in the world did this get started? I'm like, this is completely out of left field.
So, OnlyFans was we were trying to work out a deal to have sponsorship, like to have them sponsor a race in NASCAR, like a whole season or whatever that looked like. And then we were going to do, like, obviously OnlyFans has a bad rep. There was going to be no nudity coming from me if I were to do this, but it never went through. OnlyFans, my agent was talking with them. NASCAR said absolutely not. And then I was like, okay, well, we'll go road racing. Like, maybe they'll do it. They also said no, but then later, like 6 months later, a car had OnlyFans on their car. And I was like, fuck.
Well, and it's funny because we literally Mansfield Speedway sponsors Logan Carnell, the Supercross rider, who is sponsored by OnlyFans in Supercross. So
we were doing, like, behind the scenes content of like the whole year and do like a whole season with them. Well, that didn't work out, but I do have like paid subscription social media accounts. So
as you should. I mean, you're a content creator. You should have that.
Yeah, so I feel like people get confused. Like, they maybe think that it's OnlyFans and it's not. First, I was on Patreon, and then I moved over to passes just because it was like more appropriate, it felt like. But like, this is like, this is what I tell Derek all the time. I'm like, if I'm going to be posting pictures of me in my tiny little bikinis on Instagram, I might as well post it on these other accounts and actually make money on it.
100%. I mean,
really post like everything on there. Like, I'll wake up in the morning drinking my coffee, picture. I'll be like, okay, I would do a cold plunge in the pool, videotape the whole thing, vlog the whole thing, like all this stuff. So like, I vlog my whole life and take pictures morning, afternoon, and night and post it on there. So like, I'm like extremely active, and like I can actually like message fans directly all day long.
Can you make decent money doing that? Decent?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty decent. I don't like take it like super, super seriously. So like, a lot of people have agents that help them run their accounts, and I just do it all by myself.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that clears up that. So good to know. Okay, fair enough.
Do crusty race fans ever send you lots of money just to say hi?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, no.
Do they ever have any weird requests? Hey, can I get your socks after the United Reynolds 300 or something like that? Do they ever do anything like that?
No, but I feel like people have wanted my shoes.
I am curious from the race fan demographic, right? Because we have lots of female drivers that have come through. And let's be honest, NASCAR fans are horrifically creepy when it comes to, I mean, you can go from football fans, and I'm not saying all NASCAR fans are, do not kill me for saying this, but there's a lot of weird people that go off the deep end when it comes to requests and things like that. What is the weirdest experience that you have had with a fan, whether it be from autograph session to a DM? Is there anything that stands out in your mind that you're like, oh boy, that was weird? Or is it just kind of standard stuff for you? Because I'm sure you kind of become numb to it, to be honest.
I am. I feel like I'm extremely numb to it. Because like, an interaction will happen, and like a friend of mine will be like coming to a race for the first time, and they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, that's normal. But I don't know. There's gotta be something really out there and wild, and I just can't think of it right now.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. So I do want to jump to the other side of the relationship here, right? So Derek, he is racing in the Hunt the Front series this year and dirt late model racing, which I love dirt late model racing. What does he think about, your racing career. Obviously, you're a wonderful mother. Where does he sit from his racing career to, your influencer career, your racing career? How does that dynamic look for you guys? Take me through that process, because he didn't just marry Natalie Decker, the person. I mean, he married into essentially a celebrity figure in the racing community, right? So that's got to be a very interesting position, even for a seemingly pretty normal guy. That's a lot to take on for somebody.
Yeah, well, we got to go all the way back to when I first met Derek. So I was 14 years old, and I went to his home track at Elko, and he was a few people in front of me in line, checking in to get like your pit pass. And he was wearing a baby blue Bauer hat, hockey brand, backwards. And I look at my dad and I said, do you think that's a hockey player and a race car driver? Because if that's the case, I will marry that guy. And my dad was like, oh, whatever. So I was actually racing against Derek's dad that first time I ever went to that track. And I met them, short track racing in the Midwest. After the race, you go to the bar. So I met them at the bar afterwards. And I didn't realize that Derek was like 4 years older than me. So I was like, well, this isn't going to work. He's 18, I'm 14. So then like the whole year goes by. Now we're at Oktoberfest at the end of the season. And like he now knows I'm like obsessed, madly in love. Like I think he's the coolest guy. I think he's so cute. Like I'm crushing on him hard. And I'm just like this little girl to him at this point. So like he's like, he has a girlfriend. Like he's like, graduated high school. So like, it's weird, right? And fast forward now. So like, we're now maybe 6 months after Oktoberfest. He messaged me on Instagram and he was like, call me when you're 18.
Oh, that's, whoa.
I will.
Uh-oh. Is that grooming? I feel like that's grooming.
We never talked.
What does Levi feel about the grooming here?
Then I was like, okay, deal. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's still had a girlfriend when he told me that. So now we're racing Speed Weeks. I'm at New Smyrna. He's racing a legend car somewhere else. I don't know where legend cars race down there, but he texted me and he's like, how's it going? And it was Valentine's Day. So Dad, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry, but my mom already knows about it. So I'll say it. I sent him a very cute picture of my cute little butt. Okay. And I said, happy Valentine's Day, Derek. What's my present? Because obviously I just I didn't answer his question on how my weekend was going. I just went straight in for it. Because now I'm 18.
Wait, so you were 18 during that Valentine's Day?
Yes. So now it's like
okay. So now we're legal.
Yeah, okay.
I thought you're still like 14 when that happened.
No. No.
Okay.
Lady became legal and went hog wild.
Got it. All right.
So then
I feel better about this now.
We never stopped talking since that day.
All right. Well, there you go.
Valentine's Day. That was 11 years ago. 11 years ago this Valentine's Day.
So your birthday's in February?
I was 18 I was about to be 19. So I was 18 in June. And then we didn't.
So you didn't text him the day you turned 18?
No, because I had a boyfriend, I think.
Well, what the hell?
And I was living down in... Yeah, I had a boyfriend. I did have a boyfriend.
It was almost a perfect love story.
Another race car driver.
Okay.
Well, so you two, race car drivers, what about the little one? You're going to carry on? You're going to pass on the torch? Do you want little Levi to get behind the wheel of a race car?
If he wants to, I would love it. He can play golf. He can play hockey. I don't care. I just want him to love something. But racing would be really cool. I'm probably going to get him into golf, hockey, racing. You can start racing at 3.
It's crazy.
That's insane. That's dangerous as heck.
I told his doctor already. I said, be ready because he will be in a cart at 3.
Get him fitted right now.
So I'm curious, what are you thinking of there? Because Jordan and I talk about this a lot, and she's like, no, Cam's getting into racing. I'm like, if he wants to get into racing, he can. Like, he can try baseball. And she's like, no, he's getting into racing. So I feel like you and I have the same sentiment on that. And I don't know, maybe it's because, and we'll get into this, like, from your racing.
It will destroy you and your
Yes.
soul.
Yes, and we're going to jump into that for sure, because there's a dark side of racing. Like, there is a fucking terrible side of racing too. It'll crush all your dreams and make them all be extremely happy too. But it's like, it's the coolest thing in the world, but it's the worst thing in the world. So I guess I'm curious of your take. Like, for me, I want him to love it. I want him to enjoy it. Like, now that I've been out of NASCAR and gone back into racing, like, it's weird. I don't have a competitive side much anymore. Like, it's there, but it's not really there. Like, when I go to run a dirt race, I go there to have fun. And I'm like, if I run well, it's cool and it's great. I will throw my little tantrums and do stuff. And that side does come out of me, but it's backed down still compared to what it was 5 or 6 years ago. That was way worse for me for how hard I was on myself. And I know Jordan's over in the corner shaking her head at that. And no, it is true. Like, it's way better than it used to be on that. Because I would crush myself for 3 to 4 days afterwards. Now it's like 30 minutes. And so I guess I just feel like I would love him to go try a go-kart. I'd love him to go try like a little pit bike or something like that. So I just want him to have fun with it. You know, and if he's good at it and he likes it and he wants to, I'm not going to stop him. But what are your thoughts on that for Levi? Like, what do you want him to do with it?
Just have fun, period. And, here's the thing. When we first started, like, our journey into finding sponsorship to start moving into NASCAR, like the ARCA Series, Danica Patrick's dad, TJ Patrick, called my dad. They're really good friends. And he said, listen, Chuck, take pictures of every chassis number, of all the motors, keep track of everything. Because you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, and you need to know. Like, you need to go in there prepared and, like, know everything. And, like, I was just like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm just here to race. Like, this is all I've ever done. I'm excited to be here. I don't really care. Like, I don't know any different. Like, I'm not a crew chief. I don't build these cars. I've only never raced them. So, like, I never thought about it. But now, like, that I've been in it for so long, and, like, you obviously know probably even a lot more than I do, that it does scare me knowing that if he does want to move into this side of it where he wouldn't be, like, racing for our own family team and, like, someone else, because it's so far out of your control. And that part scares me. But at least I can tell him, like, hey, listen, bud, like, it's not your fault this weekend.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like, you brought up
so many of those aspects,
like a pit bike or like motocross. Derek and I've talked about that a lot. Like, Derek's dream was to, race in motocross. I feel like when he was little, like, he wanted to do that. And then he got a pit bike from my parents for his birthday not that long ago, a couple years ago. And he raced it for a year, and he actually won one race. So then he quit.
Go out on top.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Mr.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to ask you, you brought up Danica Patrick and, working with all the other ladies in racing. It's been stated publicly by guys that are in the sport right now, by Carson Hocevar said he's not friends with anybody. Makes it, he's not going out and hanging out with anybody that he races against. Now, there are a few ladies in racing, Amber Balkin, Tony Breidinger. If you go back a little bit further, Danica Patrick. When you race with those females, do you guys hang? Are you cliquey? Or are you guys talking smack about each other's fire suits afterwards? What's going on? What's the lady dynamic like in racing?
I wouldn't say like I'm not friends with them, but I feel like I resonate a lot with what Carson has said, because like I am not friends with any of the competitors. Like, I don't like call them when we have an off weekend and be like, hey, you guys want to go to Cabo? Like, I'm not a part of those groups. I don't hang out with them, because I truly, like, ever since I was little, like, it's always revolved around family. Like, who I would want to hang out with when I have time off is my son, Derek, my parents, or go home and see my cousins. Like, I always just want to be involved with my family more than anything. And I feel like we keep our circle really, really small. So I can't even think if I've like, yeah, no, I don't think it's not that I'm not friends with them. Like, I'm just not going out of my way to like go hang out, go to the
I
bar.
100% resonate with that. And it was always weird for me because we'd be in either drivers meetings or we might be at like a Ford event or something like that. You got to have all these groups. And I'm like, I just felt like the lone wolf, or even at like, sorry?
I feel like I don't fit in when or like you're on stage waiting for the driver
Oh,
intro. Like,
driver intros were the worst.
I talked with Eric Amarola's daughter the whole time because I didn't know who the hell to talk to.
Yeah, no, and I just, most of the time, like towards the end of my career, I was like, well, I'm going to go on the bench and sit here because I don't understand driver intros from that part, because NASCAR, they preach to you, preach to you, preach to you. You guys are not friends. You need to go on the track and create rivalries and all this stuff. Then why do you put all 40 of us together on stage and make us go all talk to each other before we go out there for 4 hours and expect us to go be like mad at each other? And we're supposed to go cut it up like we're at a freaking wedding reception? Like, what the hell is that? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It never made sense to me. So yeah, I completely understand what you're saying there, because I truly believe that, you know, you have to keep the people that are important to you close. And yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. I think we both share the same values of that. It's always weird to me because I think you see relationships get tore up in racing when you start to have arguments on track, or some driver dates the other driver's sister or a girlfriend or whatever. It just makes a lot of weirdness to it. And there's so many different corporate things, or somebody, you know, there's so many times where they move sponsorships, or a driver gets released from his contract and goes somewhere else, or, I mean, God forbid, you know, you get caught up in a wreck and it's the other person's fault, and then what, you're not friends anymore? I mean, where does the line stop? Like, it's so confusing. So I was like, yeah, I'm just not going to intend any of that. But I had some great mentors, but it just never made much sense to me. So I completely agree with you.
I'm glad we're on the same page. Well, hey, we were never on stage together. We would have been the ones all alone just talking.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. So going back to your racing career, and, you know, where it got kind of going into the truck series and even back into some of the ARCA stuff. You mentioned TJ, Danica Patrick's dad, talking about taking pictures of chassis numbers. And, you know, you work with some teams like Venturiti Motorsports and David Gilliland Racing. And I know you've worked with a lot of other teams in there as well. There's way more than I just, you know, talked about there. But I want to talk to you about maybe a little bit of a controversial topic in the racing space, which is females in race teams are sometimes known for getting lesser equipment. And
I absolutely get lesser equipment. 100%.
I'm curious of your take of this.
So I didn't want to believe that coming into the sport, because, you know, like watching it on TV and idolizing the sport and wanting to race in it for so long, I was like, there's no way. Also, I didn't really fully understand it. Like I said, like I'm not over here building the cars. I grew up just driving them. So I realized it about after maybe 10 races into my ARCA series career. I was like, this is not fair. And this doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know a lot about this sport, but like, I can already see that I don't like it. And
what was that first red flag for you?
Well, it sounds so like shitty for me to even say it, but there was a car that I was racing at a dirt track in the ARCA series. And that car then 2 weeks later was going to be for another female at a half mile. And I was just like, that doesn't make sense. And that's really shitty. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to be in this sport, because it doesn't make sense to me. And people are working so hard and spending a lot of money to be here. And it just didn't seem fair. But there was plenty of things that then year after year after year that have happened where like I was racing for a truck team and all my teammates had the brand new nose on it and mine didn't. And I'm over here thinking like, okay, well, like I know how much it costs to go race to race for this team. I don't know what the other teams are paying, but like my sponsor's paying a lot of money for to be here. Why don't I? And I asked them, I'm like, why don't I have the new nose? And my teammates do. And they were like, oh, don't worry about it. It's really not that big of a deal. Like, it doesn't make that much of a difference. And I, well, what do I know? Like, I haven't been in the sport that long. Okay, like I have to believe them. And then I should have texted Matt right away. I should have been like, hey, Matt, because you probably would have told me.
just to give some context to our listeners here, when she's talking about the dirt car going to, and I don't know the background of what team she's talking about. I don't know I'm guessing she's probably talking about the ARCA Series racing at DuQuoin or Springfield more than likely. And then that car going to you said a 1.5 mile track, correct? Later on?
Yeah, a mile and a half later on, that car.
Yikes. Okay. So typically when you build a 1.5 mile car, those cars are built for extreme downforce but at the same time, the least amount of drag possible. So these cars spend a lot of time in the wind tunnel. So for casual fans that are listening to this, think about F1, right? You spend the most amount of time in the wind tunnel perfecting that car, making sure that it is as aerodynamically perfect as possible. Okay, so let's take that same aerodynamically perfect car and throw it through a sand trap, throw mud at it, throw rocks at it, go bang it up a bunch of times, and now put it back on the track. Probably not going to be as fast as it possibly could be. So that at an immediate start is a downgrade from what that car has the potential speed of what it could be at any given point. I'm sure they can bondo things and do some certain stuff too to make it okay, but it will never have the potential of a brand new body. Now, what she was saying, as far as to Natalie's point on the brand new nose of a body. So anytime a manufacturer will roll out a new nose, that is the front end. So think about like a brand new Chevy Tahoe, right? They have the new grill, everything like that. Now think of like a 1990s Tahoe, very different looking. That's the nose of the truck that we're talking about. Anytime a manufacturer upgrades the look of the truck, it's not just so it looks like the production vehicle. That is part of it. But anytime they do that, it's getting better downforce, better performance numbers for the manufacturer as well. They don't do those things by mistake. So if she's sitting there with an older nose on that vehicle, unless it's at Martinsville, she is at a performance disadvantage right out of the gate. So that's a story of the picture we're painting here. So, okay, I want to continue though. Just wanted to give that little piece of information for, people who may not know that. So
you painted that picture perfectly. Like if I was a fan listening, like that was amazing. Good job.
Okay. I appreciate that. So Robbie, I want to get your take on this because this is, your first time kind of hearing about this, of maybe a discrepancy from a team. And again, I'm kind of hearing this I've seen a little bit of this from a team owner standpoint, but I want to get your thoughts because you haven't been in the weeds of the NASCAR world before.
No, I haven't. And if I'm Natalie over here, and if someone's telling me that it's not that big of a deal that I don't have the same nose as everybody else, well, then why does everybody else have a different nose than me? You know what I mean? And being a lady like yourself and everybody kind of having their own different, a little bit of bias against you, it feels like you're backed up against the ropes. What does a lady even do? What do you do? Who do you tell? I don't know if there's an HR in NASCAR or something like that, but how would you be able to jump through that obstacle?
Honestly, what I've done in the past, which I feel like a lot of teams have like looked down upon it at first, but I bring Derek in everywhere I go, every single time. I'm getting fitted in the car's going pull down, whatever's happening, and I'm at the shop, Derek comes with. He's NASCAR dictionary, I call him. My whole family calls him the NASCAR dictionary. He's very knowledgeable. And if he sees something and he's questioning it, sadly, he gets taken much more seriously than I do. So I bring him in and he helps out a lot with that. But honestly, there's only so much you can do. Like you can only fight so much. Like it's your team. Like even at the end of the day, like, yes, you are paying, the sponsor's paying for you to race, but there's still only so much you can do. Like it is a fight for sure. But at the end of the day, I just like put my head down and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to do what I can with what I have. Because
control what you can control. Right. Yeah, 100%. I do want to ask you though, no matter what, as a driver, you're always going to face some issue. Even if you have a 5th place car, you're going to fight issues that are, whether your car is too loose or it's too tight, or you're fighting small issues, or you have a 30th place car because the team fucked you over and you're not ever going to get ever past that point, if you might be in your case, right? But there are lessons that you learn. And if you haven't figured that out by this point, this is an unfiltered podcast. So cover your kids' ears, but if you've not figured that out at this point. Yeah. So I am curious though, what do you think your biggest strengths are and your biggest weaknesses are as a race car driver?
The fans are going to shit their pants when I say this. My biggest strength is listening. If someone tells me to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. Like, and here's my example. And Matt, you're going to be like, what the hell? Okay, here's my example. We're at Texas. My first time there. And I'm there with DGR. Practice ends. We're rolling into qualifying. And my teammate, Tyler Inkrum's rolling out before me. And they're like, all right, we're going to hear what he has to say, Natalie, and we're going to repeat it. I'm like, got it. He comes on the radio. He goes, easy, wide open, the whole track. Tell Natalie wide open. So what do? Go out there, hold it wide open. Well, 1 and 2, I got really tight. There's nothing I could do at that point. By the time I realized I was tight, it was too late. And I hit the wall just a little bit, went into it a little bit on my right-hand side. Wasn't that bad. Like, I still was able to race that same truck, but I was furious because I was like, Frankie's my crew chief. I'm like, Frankie, I listened. I held it wide open. You can't be mad at me. You told me to do it. You said the truck could handle it. We need to go look at the SMT because I'm like shaking mad right now. Tyler was not wide open in 1 and 2. And I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, okay, so like I listen and I do it. And everyone's going to bring up the whole Bristol thing, not clear thing.
We'll go into that in a second. Yeah.
Talk to any driver. When have you not tried to clear yourself? Like, people do it, okay? Especially at short tracks. And the guy, whoever hit me, like, clearly is just an asshole and was mad. Like, he really tried to get in there to spin me out, at least in my opinion. But I want to go back really quick before we move on, because it just came to mind about the teams and just with it not being fair, because I leave the ARCA series, I come into the truck series. It's a big difference. Now it feels so professional. Everything from day in to day out at the shop to flying to PR to how everything was organized, it felt so great. And I was like, this is my year. This is amazing. Go to Daytona. Ran over some tungsten before the green flag even waved. I was on fire. Didn't even start. Now we're in Vegas. I get there. My shocks aren't hooked up the whole time in practice. I don't even know if I'm
dear
right
God.
now. The car was bouncing the whole time. And everyone's like, what's wrong, Natalie? Why? Like, you're like really way off pace. I'm like, I don't know, but the car is like bouncing. They didn't figure it out until we were rolling out for qualifying. Hooked everything up. Frankie goes, Natalie, I promise you it's going to stick. It's going to feel like Daytona. Just hold it wide open. I promise you I'm not lying. And I'm like, all right, Frankie, hold it wide open, qualify 9th. This is when we had
the driver in me is just crying right now.
Okay, this is when we had like the rounds of qualifying, right? So I make it into the second round. I'm 9th currently. My team's pumped. None of my teammates are in the top 12. No one would share. None of my teammates would share their cool down thing to cool my motor down before the next round of qualifying. And my team didn't even bring one out on pit road for me. And then they couldn't go back and get one in time. And none of my teammates would share. That was shitty. So I qualified 12th. They couldn't cool my car down at all. And at that moment, I was really
for no cool down unit. That's
so
really
happy because we qualified all my teammates.
Yeah, I mean, still for no cool down unit, that's still really good for going to a 1.5 mile track. That's really good. And it's funny though, because so Frankie Kerr is the crew chief we're talking about here, and he's a funny individual. He was actually our crew chief the first year at Live Fast Motorsports when I owned the team over there in the Cup Series side, and he's a pretty crass individual. He has his ups and downs and his moments in there, but it's he's a hard worker. But by goodness, that guy can definitely have his moments in there where you're like, Frankie, we got to come back to earth here, or some form of reality, because we ain't there.
I like dream of going back to that year with like the knowledge and confidence I have now, because it would be a completely different year when things started to spiral for me. Like when I had a bad weekend and then I just let it roll out the rest of the season because I didn't know how to like bring myself back in. Um, but yeah, he is definitely, it's his way or the highway. And I'm a female. It's my way or the highway. So like it was a difficult year. Yeah.
Yeah, going through your social media posts too. Back in the day, it seemed like you were a little bit more timid. Now you're kind of just like, go
Ooh,
ahead.
I think you might have a story on that, huh?
Yeah, go ahead and try and stop me. What?
Here's the thing. I did a get ready with me for this podcast that I will be posting. So, and I
Let's go.
talked about that. I talked about how I was so scared to be my like true authentic self all the time on social media, behind closed doors, out in public, grocery shopping. Like I was terrified. So I move down to North Carolina with Derek and I'm racing in the ARCA series. And there was like a lot of rules. Like it was, you're not going to get taken seriously if you don't do this. Like we know how things are ran and you need to listen and like all this stuff. And like, yeah, I'm new. Like, okay, I don't know. Like I'm all yours. Tell me. Like, I want to make it. I want to make it in the sport. Like I'll do whatever, teach me. And then I got to a point where I was like, this seems off. Because I posted a picture and I sent it to Matt. So you know the picture I'm talking about. I posted this picture. I'm in my fire suit and like eating lunch in the hauler, and I take this like really cute picture. I felt like, I felt like myself. I felt cute and I wanted to post this photo. And I got called into the office like after that race weekend because I was actually racing road course stuff with a different team when I posted it. And so I get back, going back, getting ready for my next ARCA race, and I get called into the office and it was like, you cannot be posting like you are on social media. Like it's extremely inappropriate. And I'm like, okay, well, explain what's inappropriate about the picture then. Because like now
I will say this is like the most, there is nothing inappropriate about this picture. It is literally her in a fire suit. Like it is
like
fire suit and sunglasses. Noah Gragson is 100% more inappropriate in all of his pictures. Like it is as tame as you can get. It is literally a normal picture you'd see of anybody. And like if you want to get more inappropriate or more appropriate than that picture, she would have to be wearing a nun outfit. Like it is as covered up as you can.
Just my head. I don't know. Like, but this is what this guy said to me. He was like, because I was like, okay, tell me what's inappropriate about it. Because now I'm angry because now I feel like attacked. Also, why are you like, this feels inappropriate that you're even talking to me about this. I'm uncomfortable, but I need to understand what's inappropriate about this because I could be way more sexy in a photo if I wanted to be. And I do want to be. So like, I need to understand. And he said to me, it's your eyes. Your eyes are too sexy. And if you're going to race for this team, you need to wear sunglasses in all your pictures and you need to wear sunglasses at the track. And I was like, I called my sponsor on my way home from that meeting. And I said, can we go to a different team? And he said, no. He said, no, we made a commitment and we're going to finish out the year. And I said, okay.
I can relate. That's why I wear sunglasses all the time. My eyes are a little too sexy too.
And then like a couple months go by and now I'm like, I've had it. I'm like, okay, what does this guy know? I'm going to just post what I want to post on my social media. And I went to the beach with my now husband and he took a picture of me running into the ocean with my tiny little bikini on and I posted it. And my best friend, Jess, married to Travis Braden, who I raced against in the ARCA series, said, you found yourself again. Welcome back. Thank
I
you.
love Jess. Jess is so sweet.
Yeah, they're our best friends.
What's the reception been from like potential sponsors when you're trying to go get partners now that you're a free bird and you put yourself out there fully? They see the real Natalie. Has it been a good, positive reception for you?
Yeah, it's honestly been better. And I heard this actually from Travis Braden. Speaking of him, he was like, why would you not be your full authentic self online? Because eventually they're gonna like find out who you are as a person. Like they might as well find out now that like they don't like you. And I'm like, yeah, that's so true. The more authentic I am and the more I show like who I truly am online, the more partnerships I get, if that's a social media sponsorship or it rolls over into what like a racing sponsorship would look like. I've worked with so many more partners because they're like, those people want to work with like real people. And
Right.
coming into the sport that first year, everything I heard, it just sounded like, you know, you had to be like so buttoned up and proper and like this like professional, like working for the White House feeling. And it's like, no, this is a sport. Like people want personality. People want to know who you are at home. They want to see you angry. They want to see you happy. They want to see you with your family. Like they want to see it all. Like you're a character that like, you know, that they're following and they want it all. They don't want this like professional, buttoned up, perfect person.
I completely agree with you. And I think it's interesting because we had, I think, just a long period of time in the 20 teens where, you know, yourself, because, well, I know you're not supposed to ask this question, but how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, so I'm 29. So
you're not supposed to ask how much I weigh. I feel like it's not my age, right?
I don't know. There's so many freaking rules. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of rules.
Can't win.
Yeah. So, what I was going to say was, so in the 20 teens, I feel like there were a lot of just guardrails put up to say, this is the box you're put in. And from media training, whether it be Toyota, Chevy, Ford, I had to go through all of them, NASCAR media training, the NASCAR Next media training. Everybody told you, you say this, you say that. You don't go outside this box. If you go outside this box, you're bad. And like even going into interviews, like, my goodness, you did not stray from that. If you did, you were reprimanded. You were yelled at for it. You get calls. Your PR people would just scold you for it. I mean, it was brutal. It really was. And so at the same time, it was hypocrisy, because they just have these meetings of, hey, how come the deadliest catch guys have more followers than Chase Elliott, our most popular driver? I'm like, because you won't let us be anything of ourselves at all. And Robbie, you and I talk about this a lot about the Speedway here, with Mansfield Speedway. And I think we've done a lot of social numbers here and without ever having a race, because we are unapologetically fucking idiots. Like we are who we are. And I think we've just moved past the point of, if you're going to be yourself on social media, like you said, be yourself, but people are tired of the inauthentic corporate, just blah, blah, blah. Like everything's AI, everything's just this thing. Just be an authentic person. And if they're going to hate you, they're going to hate you, but at least it's engagement. At least they're still going to go boost your numbers because the algorithm's going to go push you. Like, that's the cool part about it.
I wish I would have not blocked as many people as I did in 2018, 2019, because I'm like, damn, they commented a lot, even though it was shitty things. Like daddy's money. Remember, I told you I was going to wear a shirt that's daddy's money. That's like the number one thing I get. If my dad was paying for my racing, first off, I love the teams I'm racing for, but like I race for like the lower budget teams. If I had daddy's money, I would not be racing for lower budget teams.
Let's hop into daddy's money for a second. How about we do that? So explain to me from your side, your take on the daddy's money side and your experience.
Well, it's just really funny to me because, you know, most of the drivers in the sport like come from some kind of money. And if not, their family is funding their whole career. Like there's a lot of drivers like that. So I feel like everyone just always assumes that most drivers have family money. But I just love it that they always comment that on my like social media, on Instagram, whatever. Like, I'm a girl. So when they're like daddy's money, it just is so funny because like I'm a daughter, I'm not a son. Like, so like that aspect of it. First off, I call him dad, not daddy.
That would be a little weird at some age. Yeah, that's a different podcast too. Yeah.
But, growing up racing short track, this is my brother's dog. She wants to come say hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi, sweet girl. Okay, that's enough. Growing up racing in the short track world, it's not cheap. Like, it's expensive to race. So I was very fortunate for my parents to be able to help that part of my career. But once I wanted to leave like that Midwest short track super late model racing and go into ARCA, they were like, you're on your own. We can't help you financially, but we'll help you in every other way possible. And that's where I feel so blessed. My parents 100% back me with everything they have besides their money because they don't have it.
Right.
But they're all in. Like, they help me find sponsorship. My mom sets up all those interviews that I was just in New York doing. Like, they're all in. My dad has his motorhome that he drives with my mom and their 2 dogs to almost every single race. No, I don't stay in it with them. Everyone always asks. They're just in the hotel room. But, sometimes I'm like, gosh, I wish that was true. But I'm so blessed truly with how much they do support me. But that would be nice if my dad was writing the paycheck.
Fair enough. Well, and I don't think too, I mean, I will say I was one of the fortunate ones to have a family to fund a large part of my career. But then towards the end of it, we got to the point where we ran out of money and I had to go fund and, do that side from sponsorships myself. Right. But then I don't think that people realize there's a couple exceptions, with the Christopher Bells and Chase Briscoes and Kyle Larsons of the world. But other than that, and Ryan Priest, but other than that, pretty much every other driver you look at in the Cup Series roster in there, or Xfinity or Truck Series, guess what? They're all daddy's money. So if you want to go ahead and play that card on there, they're all going to be in that. But you know what, though? I mean, you look at pretty much all major sports, right? No matter what it is in there, it takes a significant investment, whether that is travel sports, travel ball, gymnastics, if it's going to be in the Olympics somewhere, whether it is the private family funding that did it, or there is a large sponsorship investment, there's some investment along the way of somebody stroking that check. And I know it is an extremely rare opportunity that you get for it. But you mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast. It bothered me for a good bit in the beginning of my career. If I could go back now, and I don't, have interest in going back at any point in the future, but if I could go back in my exact shoes now and go back to 2017, 2018, I would really tell myself, look, it doesn't matter what these people think. And I wish I had the car knowledge and the business knowledge and all that stuff just to go, dude, just hop in there and do your job. Just go have fun, enjoy it, but also just give it all you can to make sure that you go make the most of the opportunity. But it's hard. I think a lot of people need to realize too, of the keyboard warriors in there, we're talking about 18 to 20-year-olds here, right? I mean, it's like college football, for example. I don't mean to hate on college football fans, but there are people who will literally cry over a college football team losing or winning a game, which means that you are crying over 18-year-olds making or breaking your Saturday. It's a little weird, right? So why are we getting this upset over 18 and 19-year-olds over a daddy's money thing? It's a little weird when you start thinking about the reality of things here. I don't know. It's kind of bizarre.
It is. I don't understand it. And, it's also everyone's dealt certain cards. And it's not my fault that I was dealt these cards, that my parents were able to help fund my whole short track career. And then they are 100% behind every move I make and want to support and be a part of it. That's just the parents I was dealt. What? Why are you mad about it?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Not take advantage of it? Right. I am so sorry. I grew up with my dad going to racetracks, and he was able to go at, when I graduated high school, go sell his company. And he's offering me to go drive in a great NASCAR career. What do you want me to do? Not take it? I'm sorry. I'm going to take the freaking deal. Like,
Right.
what do you want me to do? No, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm just going to go get high and stay on the couch. I'm not going to go do that. I'm going to go drive the race car. I want that option. That's the one I want. No, I'm going to play some Madden. No, I want the race car. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, you've been very fortunate, Miss Decker, with your family being involved, getting you the opportunity. And then once you kind of got into the sport yourself, you had to spread your wings and fly and find your own way. But a lot of people, I revert back to social media. You put yourself out there wholeheartedly, including some of the health battles that you have had in racing as well. And as someone, my mother, she has rheumatoid arthritis, and I see her, she gets stuck. Her hands won't move. She's in constant pain all the time. So having to go through all the treatments that you have to go through and still get behind the wheel of the race car and still be ambitious and go for it. I mean, just talk through how that has been for you.
It's been a wild ride. I actually was just filming a video today, and in that video I said, like, I was born with an autoimmune disease, rheumatoid juvenile arthritis, and at a young age I learned that life is not fair, but that doesn't mean you stop showing up. Like, you still have to show up. And now that I have a son, like, I feel like I resonate with that so much more now. But even since I was a little girl, like, my doctor would tell me, like, you're not gonna be able to do this. And I was like, no, watch me. Next week I came in, I was like doing back handsprings in the hallway to show him. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. If you tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna figure out how I can do it. And again, back to my parents, like, they are just such fighters for me. When I was diagnosed at age 2. So they really fought for me in the doctor's office and got my diagnosis at such a young age. And I have to, like, thank them so much for that, because I don't know what my life would look like if they didn't. So when I was 2 years old, I got diagnosed and I got put on a chemo drug called methotrexate, and I was on that for about 10 years. I was so young. I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand what chemo was, but that definitely messed with me as a child. I didn't lose all my hair. I had some of it, but it was my ponytail was about this big. And I would plan my medication, like, around my racing. I played hockey. I was in dance. I did all these things. So I really tried to figure out what my life was going to be like with this disease, because I knew I was going to have it forever and there's no cure for it. I went into remission when I was around 12, 13 years old, but just as I started making my way into NASCAR, which I'm sure it was all the stress, flared everything back up, and I came out of remission around 17, 18 years old. And I have not been back in remission yet, but I will say that I feel like I wouldn't be able to do what I do in the sport if I didn't have, like, the support that I have. Like, my husband comes to every single doctor's appointment, from just, like, the blood work to getting an MRI, like, everything from the smallest to the biggest, like, he's there. And I feel very lucky to have that like support and that love, because the disease that I have can feel lonely. Like, it's invisible. Like, looking at me right now, it doesn't, like, I look healthy. And I'm not. I struggle with this daily. And one thing I texted Matt, I was like, it bothers me. I married the sweetest, best husband. I couldn't see myself marrying anyone other than Derek. But he, like I said, he needs the hat that says, I could be meaner. He's very monotone and he hates the mornings. And I wake up almost every morning and my pain is like a 10. Like, my body's frozen, right? Like, I can't go and just, like, get out of bed and pick my son up right away. Like, my body's got to warm up. I got to move my hands around. And he wakes up feeling great and still decides to be crabby and an asshole. I'm like, what is this nonsense? Because, like, I wake up and I feel like my body's been hit by a truck and I have a smile on my face. Get your shit together.
Is that painful for you for, like, morning practices or anything, when you have, like, a Martinsville practice, right? Because they start those things at 7:30 a.m.
Yes, and qualifying for Daytona, I thought I saw it was at like 7:45 or 7:15 a.m. I looked at Derek, I said, that's early. I'll just have to wake myself up probably much earlier than any other driver does, so that, like, My body feels good. Mentally, I feel good and I'm ready. But the crazy thing is when I'm like in the car, like under green flag or like in a good practice run or qualifying, whatever that looks like, when it's not like downtime in the car, like under caution or coming down pit road after you're done with practice, I don't even feel it. But as soon as that caution flag comes out, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, damn, everything hurts. But then again, we go green and it all disappears. And I love racing for that. And back when I was in high school, my hockey coach, I was going through some stuff like personally at home, and I went to my hockey coach about it, you know, because he was like a mentor to me. And he was like, just practice today, get on the ice and you'll forget about everything. And like that happened. And I was like, this is why like I love sports, because hockey did that for me. Racing does it for me. It's like you get in this zone and in this bubble and like you're not thinking about anything in the world other than the task at hand. And it's like such a special thing.
Yeah, it's that adrenaline. It's I'm sure you get the same exact question, which is like, what's it like going 200 miles an hour in a race car? Like, it's the most quiet place in the world. It feels like time standing still. It's just like, it's so peaceful, you know, it's very nice.
And then they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like you're going so fast? I'm like,
no,
well, no. And until you get turned sideways, and then it really hurts.
Yeah, that's what I tell everyone. I'm like, this speed feels like it all feels relevant until there's a wreck. Then you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, I do want to jump into something that we talked about a bit earlier. You are one of the few drivers I've ever seen in my life that's been wrecked by a pace car.
Tow truck.
Sorry, tow truck. Yes, my bad, tow truck. What happened? Yes.
I've never cried so hard in my entire life. When I got into my hauler, I cried so hard. Haulers next to us probably heard me. NASCAR was going to yell at me, and then I think they heard me crying, and they were like, leave her alone. Where is that tow truck guy? He's in trouble. Calling me to the hauler. You know, when you get that call, it's a scary call, but I didn't even know I got the call. I was crying so hard. Oh,
they're like, there's nothing we can do. We don't need to say anything. We're good. Just let her be. Let her be.
Yeah, don't kick her while she's down. Oh.
Okay, so yes, because you had mentioned there was a whole bad weekend to this, right?
Yes. So here's how it goes. The K&N race was like the day before. And I was with DGR and I was like, all right, my sponsor was like, let's do it. Why not? She needs laps if they're offering it and we can do it. Let's go. So we were in the K&N race. Practice was going great. Qualifying went great. We're a few laps into the race and there was a wreck on the front straightaway. And I go to hit the brakes for the first time ever since I've been in this car because I'm not using them, period. Like barely lightly, I was using them on pit road. But like when I was out there practicing qualifying, I wasn't touching the brakes. So now I get on them hard because I'm like, okay, I don't want to hit them. They're all wrecking. The track's blocked. My brake pedal breaks in half. Now I can't reach it. Like I have these special extensions. Frankie is a great guy to build stuff, but whatever happened that weekend, it was not good.
Oh, so the extender broke in half.
Yeah, it broke in half.
Oh.
And I was thinking about it, and my clutch did the same thing in practice. And I'm like, well, why didn't they fix the brake pedal? So now I'm like really angry with my team. And I take a picture of the broken brake pedal because I have no damage. And everyone's wondering on social media why I pulled off from the K&N race because of the wreck. They're like, what happened, Natalie? Why aren't you still in the race? You weren't in the wreck. So I took a picture and I tweeted out and I said, because I can't reach the brake pedal. My extension broke. And I got pulled into my team that night, like literally, actually, probably minutes after I sent the tweet out. And they said, I have to take it down. Like, we're a team and we can't talk about it like that. And I'm like, well, they need, like, everyone wants to know why I'm not racing. Like, it's not like the
and
motor.
Also, you paid for the race. Like, take a little accountability. Like, because if you wreck the car, they're going to say, oh, Natalie Decker wrecked on lap 52. You know, like they're going to say, you did it, so you should be able to have accountability with the team. Again, back to stupid things of how it works with that world. But anyways, continue.
Yes, no, seriously. So that it made me mad because I'm like, but this is the reason. Like, people need to know. Well, I wasn't allowed to talk about it. So now I'm going into the truck race like with a chip on my shoulder. I'm pissed. I'm like, well, that didn't go the way I wanted. And so now I don't really have much confidence either because I didn't get to like get many laps on the track, and it's my first time at Bristol. And nothing's really going well. Like, practice is okay. Qualifying's not that great. And like, it wasn't to the standard I thought. Like, the truck, I should have been doing better, and I wasn't. And I was just angry, and I don't race well when I'm angry. So now we're in the race. Now I'm racing angry. Now I'm pissed off at everyone. Like, no one that I'm racing against has done anything, but I'm mad at every single person on the track right now because my brake pedal broke last night. And I go to try to clear myself. I was not clear. My spotter was saying inside, but like they were like just inside, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just drive it in an extra half a car length, extra car length, and I'm gonna turn down because I'll be clear. He doesn't know I'm gonna do that. Well, that guy clearly was still on the inside of me, and I did not clear him fully. And it spun me out a little bit. We had a little bit of damage from that. So like now my team is like angry. My crew chief's angry. My spotter's angry. I'm angry. Everyone's very upset. I'm still angry from last night. Like, the anger has not left my body. And whatever, we all like kind of try to calm down, get our shit together. We're going back green, and there's another wreck on the front straightaway. And I wasn't like fully in it, but I was enough in it where like I spun out. Like, I wasn't getting any more damage. The damage that was on my truck was from when I tried to clear myself laps before. But whatever happened, Matt, you might be able to explain this to the viewers, but I don't know if it was because I rolled backwards when I was in gear or what, but if I had the clutch in, I could roll smoothly. But if the clutch was out, even if it was in neutral, everything was locked up. So I told my team, hey, we're done. I just want to be pushed back to my pit stall. But the tow truck guy heard push to start. Mm-hmm. And so we're going about like 45, 55 miles an hour through turns 1 and 2. And I'm trying to turn off of him to go to pit road. But he's thinking I'm getting pushed to start. But I'm like, fuck it, I'll try it. Have it in second gear, drop the clutch. Everything was locked up. This car was not going to start. So I spun out. And I've never talked about it because it was like, fans aren't going to understand this. They're not going to know what I'm talking about. I don't know how to explain it. And honestly, I didn't care. I was so over it at that point.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, just from a mechanical perspective, usually that would not happen unless you had a gear issue, or if your locker had just completely locked up, or if you had an axle issue. I would think it'd be more on the locker side. So basically it's the thing that engages both of the rear tires there, in extremely simple terms here. I don't want to go fully into it. It doesn't really matter right now. But yeah, because once you're neutral, it should completely unlock the entire car to roll freely. But it's very odd if you watch the video on this at all. It basically looks like the tow truck driver just wipes Natalie out, like just completely just dumps her. I mean, it's one of the most wild things I've ever seen. And at the same time, you have, I believe it was Brandon Benesh who was spotting for you that race, correct?
That doesn't sound like that familiar.
I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it was
Alex Bowman's spotter, maybe?
Oh, was it TJ? It was TJ.
I have no idea. Derek would know.
Okay. Yeah, and I just remember watching the YouTube video because yeah, and I just remember watching the YouTube video, and he's like, I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. Like, I'm done. And I just remember thinking, like, this is one of the most wild interactions I have ever seen in a race broadcast. Like, there's got to be more to this. But I will say it made like must-see TV of a YouTube video. Like, it was hilarious. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I feel bad for her, but this is funny.
You know, and I was more like upset that I was going to get backlash on social media than I was about what happened, because like what happened like necessarily wasn't really my fault. Like shit was just going crazy. The truck driver didn't know what was going on. My team didn't know. Like once the car got on pit road, like everything was locked up. They couldn't even push it anywhere. Like it was like they had to fix whatever was wrong before they could even get it back to the hauler. And that's when NASCAR, I think, then finally was like, okay, well, we can't yell at her because this wasn't her fault. And again, like I said, I was crying my eyes out, but that was quite the weekend.
No, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, so actually both of you guys could provide this perspective. So when you actually make a boneheaded move, are you thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get flamed on Twitter when things like that happen?
That was the only time I thought that.
That was the only time. Matt, you ever had a boneheaded moment that you knew you were going to get absolutely fried for?
Anytime I stepped into a Joe Gibbs racing car, I just expected them to hate me no matter what. Because if I didn't win 17 races, I was the Antichrist. So they just fucking hated me no matter what. Whenever I stepped into a JGR car, so yeah, and that was about it. To be honest with you, I stepped into the RCR car and then the 2 car, and they're like, "Wow, Matt's really had a lot of good runs this year, and we really like Matt Tiff and blah blah blah." And that was the upswing when I actually started to pick up fans. But you step into a JGR car, and God, they hate your guts. I don't know if it was the Kyle Busch effect back then or what, because he was the teammate or anything, but it just sparked a lot of hate. So anytime I went on Twitter, people did not like me.
Wait, what's the Kyle Busch effect? Is it like the Kardashian curse? I need to know.
Well, because in 2016, I drove the NOS Energy car and shared it with him. So it was when he won like every single race in that car. And that was my rookie year in Xfinity. And we had a lot of really good runs that year. Sat in some polls, had a lot of good top 5 finishes. And so, but that was also the year that I got my brain tumor. So then I stepped out of the car for a while and then came back in. And so, it was just it was an odd year. But then I don't know, it was just bizarre because that was at like the height of the Kyle Busch hatred, like before they put in all the rules to like go block him from the Xfinity series. And I think just by affiliation, people started to not like me in there, but I don't know. It's a weird deal. But this show's about you. So anywho, I don't understand that. That's a time for another, that's a story for another time. So, all right. Well, I know we've kept you on here for a long time, but, I do want to just get to, where we go from your career, as a race car driver, but also as a model and influencer, because I think this is kind of a cool part of where you're at in your career. You talked about the parts where now, like your dad earlier, before you're talking about him spiking a mason, or you spiking a mason jar, being mad about, taking a deal for a partner because they're actually offering money for you on just doing posts and meet and greets and things like that. But also there's a much higher cost of doing a real race. So talk to me now about where your headspace is, being a mom, but then also managing, hey, I want to go do 3 to 5 races a year. What does that look like for you now, of how many races you really want to do a year? You've got your husband racing in a fantastic series down in the southern part of the United States. But then also, I mean, you have a budding social media career. Where do you put your time and effort into? How do you manage that? And what does that look like for you going forwards?
Well, day to day, it's pretty wild. I feel like my life is all over the place, from, being a mom, that obviously comes first. And then, making sure I have like social media stuff handled and sponsorship to do the races I want to do. But you asked me, is it for the racing schedule? Like, what does that look like? What do you want to do? Like, obviously, I would absolutely say yes to a full season if that was like handed to me right now. But am I happy to just be able to do a couple? Absolutely, because it's so fucking hard to get even just those few races I get. Like, we work our asses off all year and sometimes only be able to do a couple races in NASCAR. But the work to get to those races, like, it's so rewarding to be able to do those races because it takes so much work behind the scenes that no one ever really sees or understands how to, manage all of that and find the sponsorship. And when I tell people, like, if someone's listening right now that wants to race in NASCAR and you don't have that family money, or like you're just looking for sponsorship and you're trying to make it happen, like, what I would tell you is, because it can be like sad, it can be hard, it can be like, depressing because it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere sometimes. But this is what I tell myself every day is if someone told you if it were to only take 1,000 no's to get the one yes, wouldn't you be so excited for that first no? So I tell myself that all the time when I hear no. I'm like, all right, just 9,999 more.
I absolutely love that. I love that. That is fantastic.
But with the social media, like way back earlier when I was talking about that picture that they were like, you need to wear sunglasses, this picture's too sexy. That was a picture that landed me my first social media deal. I didn't understand social media like I do now. It was very new with like the sponsorships and the brand deals and the collaborations on social media way back in like 2017. So when that picture, I was getting shit for it. And then I landed this brand deal at the end of the brand deal. Like we just wrapped our whole day. I did like a 10-hour shoot with this hair company. I was like, how did you find me? Like, how did this work out? Because like my mom handled the whole deal on the backside. Like they reached out to her. And then I just showed up. I did the work and I did everything. Like she did all the negotiating. And they were like, pulled up my Instagram. See this picture? This popped up on our For You page. And we knew we wanted to work with you. We loved how your hair looked. And I was like, I just wanted to go and punch that guy that told me that that picture was too sexy, because I'm like, that picture just landed me a deal that pays me more than the ARCA series. Thank you.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. No, so, that was worth it right there. That was, I mean, that could be how many deals is that going to lead to for the next X amount of decades for you? I mean, who knows? I mean, shoot, look at your merch line. I mean, you're going to race Daytona nude. That's a big announcement. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, everyone come watch.
For those of you listening on Spotify, maybe give a little clarity, because this is probably a little bit weird me saying that.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
Okay. And if you're not actually seeing this, she has a hoodie on that says Race Daytona Nude. I can't see the bottom of it on my screen, but it is.
Show the world your nuts.
Show the world your nuts.
Not like your actual nuts, like that you're crazy. So, like, it's funny. Like, show the world you're crazy.
Everybody show the world your nuts. Walk around nude at Daytona. Brought to you by Natalie Decker's merch line. We support it.
Copyright it, baby.
Yes. No, but we talk about that a lot, though, even here, like when we go over sponsor sales. And Robbie's become one of our lead sales guys here for the promoter side and the sponsorship side in here. And I think it's just so big on just finding those right partners and the right deals in here. And I think that's it's just so important to understand the game, that it's a numbers game, and it's just finding those right deals and right partnerships, and just trying to make sure that once you find one, you just got to take care of those people. It's all a people-based business, no matter what you're in. But yeah, no, I think it's so cool what you're doing. I think it's so awesome of what you're doing as a mom, managing all of this. You're heading to Daytona again. I really do wish you the best of luck down there. And I know this is the first podcast we are doing together. You and I have talked a lot about a bunch of different ideas here, even at Mansfield Speedway. I don't think this is the last time we were talking on this podcast, but even from stuff we're going to do at the track in the future, we have a lot of really cool things that we've been bouncing ideas off of that. I think you're going to see Natalie around here a lot more in the future. So more to come on that in probably coming years around that. But Robbie, anything else that you've got for our special guest today?
Natalie, I've had a wonderful time talking to you. You're so fun to talk to. You're so charismatic, and I cannot wait to interview in Winner's Circle down there on the clay on the front stretch at Mansfield Speedway. You know what I'm saying? We can't wait to have you out here, man. And good luck to you down there in Daytona. It's going to be a tall order, but you can handle it.
Thank you. I'm so excited. As Derek was setting up my space in here in my closet, I'm in my closet. He was like setting it all up, and he was like, hey, you should tell Matt that you haven't bought your NASCAR license yet and you race in like 4 days. You should ask him if his track would sponsor you to buy your license. I was like, Derek, but I was going to ask for that. I would ask him to sponsor your dirt car.
That's fair. No, I am probably the worst guy to ask to sponsor anything right now because I'm hemorrhaging money. But once this thing turns around, I tell you what, Derek, I will give you a free ride here at our motocross track to maybe come out of retirement. So that is on me. And Natalie, we have our throttle circus car. Our prototype is finished. So once you come out here, you are ripping that thing out here on the track and having a good time with us on that as well. Hey, real quick for the fans here, I have 2 quick questions for you. Number 1, are you locked into the race or do you have to qualify your way in? And to finish this thing off, what number is your car and what is your team you're driving for? And one more sponsor plug just to make sure you get that thing in one last time.
Well, first things first, the sponsor is T.N. Dickinson's. They make a bunch of different products with witch hazel. Amazing. But I'm racing with Joey Gase. I'll be the number 35. He did buy points. I believe I'm around like 26, 27, 28.
You should be pretty safe then. Yeah.
So I feel pretty confident and pretty safe. I do not have an A motor. So that does suck a little bit, but you know what? Once we get through qualifying, I'm not too concerned about being in the race with the motor I have. It just kind of sucks for qualifying. So I'm not going to probably set the world on fire in qualifying because of that. But I think that's it. Did I answer all those questions? Team, sponsor, number, points, locked in? Was there anything else?
Nope, you're good.
Natalie, where can I get a Natalie Decker t-shirt?
You need this one.
I want it.
We do need this one for around our guys here. Yeah. And myself.
Yes. NatalieDeckerInc.com is where I sell my merch. I have a bunch of new merch on there, but this is my absolute favorite.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. No, it's fantastic. All right. Well, go. If you're going to go make some weekend plans, make sure you check out the United Rentals 300 on the CW on Saturday and check out Natalie Decker racing for Joey Gase, and best of luck to you. Thank you so much for joining the podcast, and we will see you next time.
Good luck, Natalie. You're going to need it, sister. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of the Speedway Sessions. Go to thespeedway.com/win. You got just a couple more days for your chance to win $5,000. All you got to do is buy a ticket to a race.
Buy a ticket.
Gotta buy a ticket or a piece of qualifying merchandise. Until next time, good luck, Natalie Decker. We'll see you next time. Looking good. Are we supposed to just banter right now?
I guess so. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we should be bantering right now between me and a NASCAR driver.
What would happen in the Navy if you didn't know your port from your starboard? Were you like immediately just like let go?
No, that could result in death.
That's kind of what I wondered. I didn't want to say it though.
No, yeah. If I don't know my right from my left,
right,
I'm fucked.
Yeah. So like, did you have to like run 17,000 miles? Like, what? Seriously, what would happen if you didn't know that?
If I didn't know that, I would get hazed, or if we were in a combat situation, I would just get die. I would die.
You would just get died.
I would get died because I flanked in the wrong direction, completely exposed to the elements, and I'd be killed.
So you gotta watch your starboard.
Starboard. Which one is it? Which one's the starboard side?
That's the right side.
Okay, actually knows. All right.
I took my boating test. I had my license for a while.
Right now.
Tying out a lot of knots.
Oh, you're going to be confused until Taylor hits that damn start button. We're just going to keep on talking nonsense. I'm sorry. We should have just started this thing at 7:20, I guess, man.
We're yapping.
Yeah.